Tonight on KGW News, President Trump has a new target, though local experts say not so fast.
We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud.
States run elections, not the federal government.
Plus, just one more day without In-N-Out.
I think it's great. I think the community wants it, but I think traffic here is going to be crazy.
The do's and don'ts in Ridgefield before you make a run for a drive-through double-double. But first,
basically, it's like a Dukes of Hazzard launch, right?
It was, yes.
With a change underway at the highway trouble spot known to send some cars flying. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Mulco. We're talking about a potential end to headaches, vehicle damage, and even crashes on a stretch of Highway 26 not far from the Oregon coast, known for better or worse as the bump. Catherine Cook is here with the update. Catherine, feels like this one's been a long time coming.
Yeah, David, this is a major repair job and will take about a month. Crews won't be out on Fridays or weekends when the bulk of travelers head to the coast, but you can still expect delays caused by the massive bump they're finally repairing.
No one loves road work. However, this repair job over on Highway 26 near Seaside just might be the exception.
Yeah, you need to go lower, slower than 25.
Drivers likely relieved to see ODOT crews finally fixing the bump, as they've dubbed it. But let's be real.
Basically, it's like a Dukes of Hazzard launch, right?
It was, yes. There were a lot of people reporting that they caught air.
ODOT's Mindy McCart gets it. This spot on milepost 13 is bad and blamed for several car crashes. The reason? Transportation officials say years of water buildup in the soil, causing what they call an upside-down slide.
So instead of the typical sinking, the pavement is actually being pushed upwards by all of the groundwater pressure.
Back in March, the road got so bad, ODOT had to remove 100 feet of asphalt across all 4 lanes. They covered it in gravel and lowered the speed limit to 25 miles an hour, just one of several temporary fixes. ODOT hopes this will be a permanent solution. They started the month-long repair job on Monday.
So we are going to be installing 9 different perforated drain pipes under all 4 lanes, plus digging new roadside ditches. And this is to drain that groundwater away from the road. Then we'll repave and stripe and get drivers a smoother, safer ride.
For now, there will be flaggers, cones, and equipment moving in and out of the work zone and traffic down to 1 lane in each direction, Monday through Thursday.
The biggest help that drivers can do right now for us is slow down.
Great advice for work crews and drivers' safety. That spot is messy. Really looking forward to having it fixed. ODOT crews will be out there from 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. David.
Oh, thanks, Catherine. Appreciate the update. It's going to be nice when it's smooth sailing.
Yes.
To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, a grand jury has indicted a man on new charges in connection with a kidnapping in Salem. 48-year-old Elijah Galvez Arce is facing an additional kidnapping charge along with attempted rape. Investigators say he lured an 11-year-old from the front yard of her home earlier this month. Authorities found the pair less than a quarter mile away with the girl physically unharmed. Arce is being held without bail and is scheduled to be back in court next week. The Oregon driver accused in a deadly crash that killed a softball team's coach along with a player is now pleaded guilty to unspecified charges. Jonathan Dowdy is charged with 2 counts of manslaughter along with assault and a number of other counts. Authorities say he was driving with a suspended license in April when he drove head-on into a bus carrying the team from Umpqua Community College on Highway 42. 45-year-old Jamie Strins and 19-year-old Kylie Jones were killed. Sentencing is set for next month. Also new at 11, the off-duty Alaska pilot accused of trying to cut a plane's engines mid-flight has apparently agreed to a plea deal. Court records indicate Joseph Emerson, who is facing federal charges, will appear for a change of plea hearing in Portland the week after next. Emerson's alleged actions, which lawyers say stemmed from taking psychedelic mushrooms, forced the flight from Everett to San Francisco to make an emergency landing in Portland. His attorneys would not comment on a potential plea, but said they might have more to share soon. And Portland Fire and Rescue officially has a new chief. She is Chief Lauren Johnson, formerly assistant chief in Dallas, Texas, and a career firefighter that has risen through the ranks.
I'll tell you, the thing that hooked me for Portland was one of their current chiefs made a post on LinkedIn that said they were looking for a fire chief, and they've got great people. and my first thought was, I want to work there.
Well, Johnson's first priority, building trust with the nearly 750 fire personnel she will now oversee. All right, let's take you outside on this Monday night. A bit of a cooler start to the week, though. Word of the wise, don't get too comfortable because it looks like another heat wave is headed our way. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is here. Joe, walk us through what's coming.
Yeah, I just looked at the bottom of the screen. It says 66 degrees. Well, our temperatures could be 30 degrees warmer than that heading into the later part of this week. That's right. We are looking at highs close to the upper 90s, maybe spilling into close to 100 degrees by Friday. But we don't have to worry about that until really the later part of this week. But tonight, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, David, mild temperatures for your overnight lows, lots of sunshine tomorrow, and it's going to get a little bit warmer for both Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's just call it pleasant before things really start to heat up, and then getting warmer later on this week. Again, daytime highs approaching that century mark by Friday. We will have a weather impact alert later on this week. Now, as we look at the day planner for tomorrow, temperatures going to be very comfortable from beginning to end. Mid-50s by 8 a.m., late morning, getting into the low 70s, and then by the afternoon, we'll be looking at temperatures right around the low 80s, which is average for this time of year, although the last couple of days really haven't been feeling much like the later part of August. We'll have this ridge of high pressure develop over the next couple of days, and with that is going to be some very hot conditions by the later part of the week. So as we go hour by hour with the Futurecast, if you're spending any time along the coast tomorrow, you'll be seeing those clouds really hug the northern part of the Oregon beaches, Astoria, Cannon Beach. You travel south a little bit near Lincoln City, you're seeing a little bit more of the sunshine. A little bit of a front stays off the Pacific there. We're not going to be seeing much in terms of precipitation falling along the Oregon coast. Currently, we're seeing a temperature of 66 degrees. Clouds will increase a little bit overnight, but for the most part, we are going to be seeing a clear start to your Tuesday and pleasant, but then we go from pleasant to downright hot and kind of uncomfortably hot later on this week. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
Oh, well, at least pleasant for now. Thanks, Joe.
We're going to work with Ukraine, we're going to work with everybody, and we're going to make sure that if there's peace, the peace is going to stay long-term.
I'll call it a potential path toward peace as President Trump met at the White House today with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, along with a lineup of European leaders. It comes just days after the president's summit in Alaska ended without a peace deal or a ceasefire. Today's meeting, the next step in the push to end the 3.5-year-long war. Tonight, President Trump saying security guarantees and support are on the table, but Ukraine may have to make some tough concessions. Ukraine, for its part, wants to prevent another Russian invasion and says it does not want to give up territory. The next potential step, according to President Trump, a meeting that includes him and the Ukrainian and Russian leaders. Talks among European leaders and with the U.S., by the way, could continue as soon as tomorrow. During that Oval Office meeting you saw there today, a reporter asked the president not about Ukraine, but about a post he made this morning on Truth Social calling for an end to mail-in voting. Libby Dowsett has the story.
We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud.
President Trump speaking out Monday, saying his administration is setting its sights on eliminating vote by mail, a system championed by a majority of Oregon voters and local elections leaders.
We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots.
The president saying vote by mail is more expensive and nets slower results compared to paper ballots.
Do you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses it?
Oregon Secretary of State Tobias Reed immediately firing back, saying all those statements are false.
He's wrong. Voting by mail in Oregon, which is, by the way, done with paper ballots, is less expensive than votes that require someone to show up at a specific place at a specific time.
Reed says the president is crossing the line when it comes to our Constitution.
We follow the Constitution in Oregon, which says clearly that states run elections, not the federal government.
Portland State University research assistant professor Paul Manson with the PSU Center for Public Service agrees.
We are unique as democracies go in the world, that we really place all of the administration and effort for elections at the local level. States oversee it, but for example, here in Oregon, counties administers elections. So we've always, in the U.S., allowed those local governments to do that.
He said both Republican and Democratic leaders have built their re-election campaigns on the assumption of vote by mail.
So to take that away would sort of shake the snow globe for those incumbents who are thinking about the midterms coming up.
A local leader of the National Vote at Home Institute says anyone who's voted in Oregon should know the system is secure.
There's no such thing as making copies of ballots and submitting them, because every ballot is tied with that barcode to one individual voter.
Barbara Smith Warner says people can track their ballots from delivery to the collection box. And some form of vote by mail is used in dozens of countries and every state.
Voting is the foundational element of our democracy. It is what makes everything work. If it weren't so important, people wouldn't try so hard to make you not do it.
Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
Well, meanwhile, Oregon's Attorney General is joining 19 other states in suing the Trump administration over its attempts, he says, to block access to federal funds meant for crime victims and survivors. The administration has frozen some $15 million in grants for organizations in Oregon unless states agree to help federal immigration enforcement efforts. Now, programs like the Sexual Assault Resource Center that's in Washington County rely on this type of funding, and because of the uncertainty, last week they put a pause on their services.
So right now in Washington County, there isn't a direct service provider for folks who have experienced sexual violence.
The federal administration is trying to use victims of crime as a political tool to carry out an incredibly unpopular political agenda.
AG Rayfield is now asking the state legislature for roughly $3 million to help fill that gap as that lawsuit plays out.